Most people think stress only affects the mind. They believe it's just worry, just pressure, just emotions. But what if stress is actually starving your brain? Not slowly, not someday, but right now. Every stressful moment sends a powerful chemical signal through your body, a signal that changes how energy moves, a signal that decides whether your brain gets fuel or slowly runs on empty. This is why stress doesn't just make you anxious, it makes you tired, fog, irritable, craving sugar, unable to focus. These are not personality problems. They are biological responses. And the scary part? Most people live in this state every single day without realizing what it's doing inside their brain. In today's video, you'll discover how stress quietly steals energy from your brain, why modern life keeps this process running nonstop, and how this hidden starvation leads to burnout, brain fog, and long-term damage. If you've ever felt exhausted even after resting or mentally cloudy during stressful weeks, hit the like button so more people can understand what stress is really doing to their bodies. And subscribe to the channel if you want to keep learning the hidden biological signals your body sends before small warnings turn into serious problems. Now, let's uncover how stress quietly starves the brain. Now, let's slow down and look at how stress actually feels inside your body. Because for most people, stress doesn't feel dramatic. It feels normal. You wake up already thinking about what needs to be done. Your chest feels slightly tight. Your jaw stays clenched without noticing. Your mind jumps from one problem to the next. Even when nothing urgent is happening, your body behaves like it is. Throughout the day, small pressures keep stacking. Traffic, emails, deadlines, bills, messages. Your brain never fully relaxes. And when night comes, the stress doesn't disappear. You lie in bed feeling tired, but your thoughts keep racing. Sleep becomes light, broken, unrefreshing. You wake up exhausted again. This cycle repeats day after day. Most people believe this is just modern life. But biologically, something very important is happening. Every stressful thought triggers a chemical response. Your brain releases cortisol. Cortisol's job is to prepare you for danger. It tells your liver to release quick energy into your bloodstream. It raises your heart rate. It sharpens your senses. For short moments, this is helpful. But when stress happens constantly, your body keeps dumping energy into the blood over and over again. The system never calms down. Energy levels spike, then crash, spike, then crash. And the brain, which needs stable fuel, begins to struggle. Instead of receiving a smooth flow of energy, it gets chaotic bursts. Too much at once, then not enough. This is where the starvation begins. Not because there's no energy in the body, but because stress disrupts how energy is delivered. Imagine trying to power a computer with electricity that flickers on and off. Sometimes too strong, sometimes too weak. The system can't run properly. That flickering is what stress does to your brain's fuel supply. And the brain reacts quickly. It lowers focus, slows thinking, creates fatigue, pushes cravings for quick sugar. Not to hurt you, but to survive. Stress is not just making you feel overwhelmed. It is changing your biology. It is quietly pulling energy away from the brain. And most people never connect these symptoms to stress. They blame sleep. They blame age. They blame motivation. But the real cause is happening deeper, inside the energy system. Now, here's something most people never realize about stress and the brain. When stress keeps rising over and over again, your body doesn't just release energy. It begins to redirect it. In survival mode, the brain makes a choice. Not a conscious one, a biological one. It prioritizes muscles, heart, and quick reactions. Because in danger, movement matters more than thinking. Energy is pulled toward the body and quietly taken away from higher brain functions. This is why during intense stress, your mind feels blank. You forget things. You struggle to think clearly. Your brain is literally being deprioritized. This was incredibly useful thousands of years ago. If a predator was chasing you, you didn't need creativity. You needed speed. You didn't need deep focus. You needed strength. So biology evolved to shift fuel away from the thinking brain and towards survival systems, but in modern life, there is no predator. There are emails, deadlines, bills, notifications. Yet the brain reacts the same way. It keeps diverting energy away from thinking and clarity. Not once, not twice, but all day long. This is why stress makes you feel mentally slower. Not because you're weak, not because you're distracted, but because your brain is literally receiving less usable energy. Over time, this constant redirection becomes the new normal. The brain lives in a semi-starved state, not empty, but underpowered. And when the brain stays underpowered long enough, it begins changing how it works. Neural connections fire more slowly. Attention becomes harder to hold. Memory becomes less sharp. Mental endurance drops. Tasks that once felt easy feel exhausting. This is the beginning of burnout. Not emotional burnout first. Biological burnout. The brain running on survival fuel instead of optimal fuel. And here's the dangerous part. You can still function like this. You can still go to work, still answer messages, still live your life. But everything feels heavier, slower, more draining. This is why so many people say, I'm doing the same things I always did, but now I'm exhausted. Nothing changed in effort. What changed was energy distribution inside the body. Stress slowly rewired where fuel goes, and the brain quietly lost its priority. And when the brain stays underpowered for long periods of time, the body begins changing in deeper ways. At first, it's just fatigue, then mental slowness. But slowly, the brain starts sending emergency signals to compensate. It increases hunger hormones. It pushes cravings for fast energy. It tells the body to release even more glucose. The system becomes louder, more chaotic. And this constant chemical noise triggers inflammation. Not the kind you feel, but low-grade inflammation inside the brain itself, neuroinflammation. This silent swelling interferes with how brain cells communicate. Signals move slower. Memory weakens. Mood becomes unstable. Focus becomes harder. This is why chronic stress often feels like your brain is not the same anymore. It's not imagination. It's biology adapting under pressure. At the same time, stress hormones continue pushing energy into the bloodstream. The liver begins converting excess fuel into fat. Deep visceral fat grows around the organs. This fat releases its own inflammatory chemicals, which further stress the brain. Now a vicious cycle forms. Stress starves the brain. The brain triggers inflammation. Inflammation increases stress signals, and the cycle keeps feeding itself. Energy becomes harder to regulate. Hormones drift further out of balance. Sleep breaks down even more. Recovery slows. Yet many people still don't connect these symptoms together. They treat brain fog as separate, weight gain as separate, fatigue as separate. But biologically, they're all part of the same stress-driven survival loop. And the longer this loop runs, the deeper the damage becomes. Blood vessels stiffen. The heart works harder. The immune system weakens. The brain struggles more, all while life continues as usual. This is why stress-related health problems rarely appear overnight. They build quietly, through months, through years, through countless moments of emergency mode. The brain starving is only the beginning. It's the first sign of a system being pushed too far for too long. And here's the part that most people find surprising. The body is not trying to harm you. Every change you've just heard about, the inflammation, the cravings, the fatigue, the mental fog, the fat storage, all of it began as protection. Your body was trying to keep you alive in a stressful environment. It redirected energy to survive. It stored fuel for future danger. It slowed the brain to conserve power. Biology always chooses survival first, even when that survival slowly creates long-term strain. This is why pushing harder rarely fixes stress exhaustion. Working more, drinking more caffeine, forcing productivity, skipping rest. These things don't solve the problem. They send even stronger emergency signals. They keep the survival loop running faster. The brain stays underpowered. The body stays inflamed. The system never resets. What the body actually needs is not more pressure. It needs safety. It needs steady energy. It needs time out of emergency mode. When stress signals begin to calm, something incredible happens. Hormones start to rebalance. Inflammation slowly decreases. Energy delivery becomes smoother. The brain begins receiving stable fuel again. Clarity improves. Focus returns. Fatigue eases. Cravings settle. This isn't instant, but it's very real. The nervous system is designed to heal. The brain is designed to recover. The body is incredibly adaptable when given the right conditions. This is why understanding stress as a biological process matters so much. Not just a feeling, not just a mindset, but a real physical state that affects every organ. When you recognize the signs early, you have the power to change the direction. Before burnout becomes permanent, before chronic disease develops, before the system breaks down. Stress starving the brain is not the end of the story. It's the warning chapter. So, if there's one thing to remember from today's video, it's this. Stress is not just something you feel. It's something your body lives in. And when stress becomes constant, it quietly changes how energy flows inside you. It pulls fuel away from the brain. It keeps the nervous system in survival mode. And over time, it creates fatigue, brain fog, inflammation, and long-term strain. Your body was never betraying you. It was adapting to pressure. It was doing everything it could to keep you going. But survival biology was never meant to last forever. The good news is that the brain is incredibly resilient. When stress begins to calm, when energy becomes steady again, when the body feels safe enough to exit emergency mode, clarity can return. Focus can sharpen. Fatigue can fade. Not through pushing harder, but by working with biology. Understanding these early warning signals gives you a powerful advantage because the body always speaks before serious damage begins. And stress starving the brain is one of the clearest messages it sends. If this video helped you see stress in a new way, give it a like so more people can learn what's really happening inside their bodies. And subscribe to the channel if you want to keep decoding the hidden language of your body, organ by organ, signal by signal, before small warnings turn into big problems.